So we're standing around the OX pit in the late 90s, and Scott and we're doing okay. At the same time, we saw the business was changing. We're going to build this crazy company called ThinkOrSwim.
You know when you are in an entrepreneurial business, when you're working on cardboard boxes.
Writing the algorithms that would transform retail trading, working off a cardboard box.
Nobody ever took us seriously, which is great.
It was late one afternoon. The 15 of us were crowded around this one terminal, watching Mabel's account. Bing, working in her account. Finally filled, and this little mini cheer went up. Hooray, Mabel did a trade!
And I go, this can't be right. What's going on? What's going on?
We're long 400,000 shares of Google. It's down $6. That's $2.5 million.
Google never, ever traded that low ever again.
I grew up just outside of New York City in Westchester County. I just want to see what Chicago's like. You know, I grew up in New York. I had never been west anywhere. Like, it wasn't like I'd never been to California, to Chicago, to the Mississippi. You know, I'd never been, west of Western New York. I remember I came to Chicago. I asked a cab driver to put a piece of black tape over the meter and drive me up and down Lakeshore Drive and charge me $50. And I remember the guy goes, "You want me to charge you $50 and put tape over the meter?" I go, "Yeah," because I thought he was going to rip me off for like a couple hundred. Turns out it was like $22. I paid him $50. My first bad ARB in Chicago. Went to the floor of the exchange on day one. This was the old floor before they built the new exchange. I spent the first day kind of just walking around the floor trying to scout out places. And like, you scout out places by trying to figure out, like, where's the most amount of business with the least amount of people. What I didn't realize at the time, because I was so naive, was the place with the most amount of business and the least amount of people is going to be the biggest jerks on the whole floor. But at the time I think, oh, this is great. I found a pit that's busy with nobody here.
So we go to Vegas, and never forget this. It was the old the Desert Inn, which no longer exists. And we walk into the room, nice hotel room. You walk in, it's 2 beds, bathroom. And then in the corner, there's a door. So I said, "What's the door for?" And he said, "Oh, open it up." He said, "That goes to Tom's room." So I walked over and I opened it up, and it was this massive suite. I'd never seen anything as big as this. It was a split level with a whole living room on the downstairs and the bedroom on the upstairs. And we had stairs going down or up. And I turned around, I looked at Al, I said, "Who's Tom?"
About 1999, on my birthday. And the reason I remember that is because at that time, on my birthday, I would take the entire day off and I would go wander the city. And whatever happened to me was supposed to be sort of like a sign of what was going to be my upcoming year. So basically, I got a call from Tom on my birthday, and I just remember being sort of irritated because I was trying to not work at all. And he basically asked me to come in and talk to him about ThinkOrSwim.
And we got a call. There was Tom. He was asking, "Are you guys interested in building an options trading system?" And I closed the phone by my head. I had no clue what options are. And I was like, "Do we know what options are?" My partner was going, "No, but just say yes." I'm like, "Yeah, of course, we're interested. Yeah, we can do it." And he was, "Do you know what option trade? Are you familiar with option trading markets?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course, I'm familiar. Yeah, of course." I'm like, "Can we really make it?" And the partner goes like, "We'll figure this out. Don't worry. Just tell him yes."
I met Tom in 1999 through a mutual trader friend of ours. Talked to Tom and realized that, yeah, okay, this would be my opportunity to work with our own dedicated set of developers to build the platform that I wanted to build. This was a much more interesting opportunity.
Tom hung out a lot with Scott Sheridan on his side of the pit. Scott and Tom stood shoulder to shoulder with each other. Scott was saying that he had started a business with Tom looking into becoming a brokerage firm. We, of course, all laughed because, what do these monkeys know about a brokerage firm, and how are they going to revolutionize the world? He can't even add, count to 50.
So we're standing around the OX pit in the late 90s, and Scott and we're doing okay. I mean, our year's going fine. It's decent. It's the same as every other year. At the same time, we saw the business was changing. The business is going to multiple exchanges. There is not as much edge as there used to be. It's much harder to make money. And so I came up with the idea that let's do something completely different. Let's take the other side. So instead of being the counterparty to all the trades, let's do something we've never been before, which is let's build something different. And we said, we're going to build this crazy company called ThinkOrSwim.
ThinkOrSwim?
ThinkOrSwim, probably flotation devices.
No.
I have no idea what they do. Haven't got a clue.
ThinkOrSwim. I recognize it, but I can't tell what the product is.
It means like you're thinking while you swim.
Swim is the swimming?
Swimwear?
Swimwear.
And you're gonna say swimwear?
Swimming shoes?
Probably swimming trunks.
ThinkOrSwim as a name. If you remember when you said, this is going to be the name of the company, ThinkOrSwim. How did that all just kind of...
It's nothing. I just made it up. There's no story. Everybody's asking. I've answered that question 1,000 times. There is no story.
He was on vacation. Back then, he would go out east and visit with his family for a couple weeks in August. And he came back and he said, I've got the name. And I was like, great. I'm like, what is it? And he's looked at me and said, ThinkOrSwim. And I'm looking at him like, what? I'm
just sitting around one night thinking, ThinkOrSwim, and I Googled it, or whatever at the time. I don't remember. I don't even think I Googled it. I think what was the search engine we would use back then? I don't even remember.
Like a Yahoo?
No, it wasn't Yahoo. It was some other little rinky-dink search engine. And I Googled it, and there was nothing there. And I'm like, beautiful.
Part of me said, that's really cool. And part of me is like, it's just going to be an uphill struggle with that name.
Never could figure out what the play of it was. TRS, Tom and Scott, whatever. But thinking, we said, was the trading or the analytical part, and swimming was when you decided to make a trade and you jump in the pool, right? So, that's the story I told people. Whether it was true or not, who cares? I still don't know to this day.
The original intent was to get rid of the name. The original intent was to use the name only while we were building the firm, and so that nobody knew what we were doing. And then there was one writer from Cranes who ripped us for the name, and we're like, that's it. We're keeping this name. And by the way, the industry never liked the name.
We heard multiple times that they just couldn't see putting their money with a firm by the name of ThinkOrSwim. Now, what's funny about that is that now ThinkOrSwim has the best name in the industry.
Years later, I was talking with the CEO of Schwab, and he said something to the effect of, we never took you guys seriously because the name ThinkOrSwim, we didn't even know what the hell it was. Now we realize it's serious, but it's just kind of funny that nobody ever took us seriously, which is great.
There were 3 different ThinkOrSwim offices over the years. The first one was the old trading office, and we were stuck in a room about 12 by 15 or something like that.
We had 5 guys. A lot of attitude, a lot of people, a lot of smart guys, right? In a room no bigger than an 8 by 12 or 12 by 16 or something, right?
So it was like the 23rd floor, I think. And I used to look out in the evenings. There's a jail actually a couple blocks away, and the inmates were like running around at the top, like playing basketball.
When we started to build ThinkOrSwim, we had to put everybody into one of our side rooms because we didn't want them to be around all these kind of traders that were making a lot of noise, playing golf, ping pong, whatever. So we had to get some serious stuff.
Our office space, which we decided to take, was above a restaurant by the name of Wishbone, and it still exists. It's a great restaurant. It's one of Tom's favorite, actually, breakfast spots. Our broker takes us into the spot, and we walk in, and it was vacant, but it had been a couple different things. I think the last thing was a dentist office or something. There was a hole in the floor that if you didn't step the right way, you could go right through into the restaurant. And the broker has his head down like, I cannot believe that I brought these guys here. What a complete waste of time. And we turned, looked, and we said, we'll take it.
We turned the 3304 North Lincoln into a ghetto, right? I mean, it's to the point where there were booby traps. Like having a cord around the floor with tape over the top of it was commonplace.
We didn't have our furniture picked out or anything like that yet. So what we worked off of were some cardboard boxes.
So let me tell you, when you are in an entrepreneurial business, when it's a startup, when you're working on cardboard boxes and you're thinking like, do I get the new box when it comes in because it has a little more stability to it?
And they were good sturdy cardboard boxes, not like these flimsy little bankers, but no, these are good sort of moving quality boxes. boxes.
I remember the first order we put in with Dell was like $29,000 worth of PCs, which probably today costs about $350. We put them on top of the boxes, and TP refused to get rid of the box. Like, he'd become attached to that box.
Writing the algorithms that would transform retail trading, working off of cardboard boxes.
He worked on a cardboard box for about 2 years until we moved.
And I think it was pretty much downhill productivity-wise after we actually got chairs and desks.
Our first 2 servers here in Chicago were called Itchy and Scratchy, after the Simpson characters, and then we had this server in Russia that would look like it so we could communicate and things like that. Sun Microsystems at the time was trying to encourage small startups to use Sun equipment and to use Java.
But the problem was that, you have to get them from US to Russia. If you do it, like in a formal way, then it's going to take you like months actually to file all the paperwork and wait for the shipment and everything.
So they said, but we can't get Sun equipment in Russia. So what do you want to do? We couldn't build a test system. So we couldn't build a Sun server to put the hardware because they couldn't get it through customs.
And you have to actually take parts from different servers in different luggages because, if the custom guy stops you asking, like, what are you doing? You will be just pretending you're taking the spare parts with you. It's not like the whole server. It's disassembled, so look, man, it's just, replacement for whatever I have in my house in the backyard.
We took it all apart. These kids took it all apart. We put it into suitcases in between their clothes, and we sent them back through customs.
So he made a trip, and then he bought another ticket, same day, going back to Chicago. He was stopped by the police, by the border officer here, asking like, okay, you left yesterday. What, did you forget your toothbrush or something in the hotel?
Nobody even looked at them, and we rebuilt the server in St. Petersburg, and we had a dev server.
So it took 2 trips actually to haul all the servers back to Russia.
In some ways, you need to be kicked out of the door of the airplane. So for me and like the design and development teams, the business is like, well, you have to get this going, right?
One of the most interesting, memorable times was our first customer's order.
I have a financial advisor, but I never really get to see him or talk to him after the first time when he took my money and signed a check and disappeared. One day I felt that I should take control of my money, and then I think, well, maybe I can do trading myself. I come to get to know ThinkOrSwim from my daughter when she come tell me that there is this company that charge a very small service fee for doing options. And since we're doing options, and we should go into them because their fee is so minimal compared to other big companies.
And I remember it was late one afternoon in the trading day. And okay, we heard that Mabel was going to place her first order.
He gave us some free trades to try, and he actually taught us on the phone about some basics to the platform, because ThinkOrSwim platform is pretty scary when you look at it for the first time.
So the 15 of us were crowded around this one terminal, watching Mabel's account, waiting for Mabel to route the order.
We were doing a call option on the 4Qs. I think that was our first trade.
And finally we say, Bing, working in her account. And this little, and finally filled, and this little mini cheer went up. Hooray, Mabel did a trade!
The most important part is we did make money on that trade, and we were very happy. Before that, we were kind of letting other people manage our money. Now we feel that we can do it on our own.
I don't know where the monkey came from. I think, it kind of talked about, hey, monkey, do this or that. And I think Sosnoff might have had some monkey thing on the floor or something. I don't know.
In the world of index arbitrage, we would say, hit it, monkey. And so when we decided to build ThinkOrSwim, we kept using the term hit it, monkey. And it stayed with us throughout the years. But we decided the platform, ThinkOrSwim was the name of our company. Our platform needed a name.
The developers would be sitting there writing the code, and we'd be waiting for them to compile it and actually make it into an executable file. And they'd say, oh, okay, we think we're done. And we'd say, okay, hit it, monkey.
So we decided we're going to call ThinkOrSwim as a platform name, Hit It Monkey. So we type it out on the platform, we build in the software, the developers get it in there, the artists get it in there, and then when we put it up there, it says, Hi Tit Monkey. And we looked at it, we're like, Hi Tit Monkey. That we can't call our platform Hi Tit Monkey. So it's got to go back to get rid of Hit It Monkey because it just looked horrible. I don't care how you set it up, it looked horrible.
Hi Tit Monkey became sort of the de facto sort of internal ThinkOrSwim motto. Hi Tit Monkey.
So when customers opened an account with us, we wanted to send them a little thank you. Like, hey, thanks for opening an account. Welcome to ThinkOrSwim.
In fact, the original ThinkOrSwim logo inside the monkey, when it came, it would say, we built a better banana.
First it was 20 monkeys, then it was 100, then 200. We were all working on this project together. Tom, Scott Shade, and everybody were involved. We were packing stuff, sending letters to the customer, like, thank you for choosing us.
So the white monkeys, there were only a handful made, right? Only certain people got them.
It was a gimmick, and it didn't work because I got grossed out by the albino monkey, so I killed it.
I'm the last one here with them, and mine, I leave it out here in plain view for everybody to see.
The thing was going to be if you get a white monkey in the mail, then you win something special, like a year's free commissions, whatever it was. It was the dumbest idea, so we killed it. We ended up with a box of albino monkeys.
I think my favorite email of all time that pertained to monkeys was this guy said his girlfriend just broke up with him because he's spending way too much time on ThinkOrSwim and trading, and he said, I'm completely fine with the fact that she just broke up with me, but before she left, she ripped up my ThinkOrSwim monkey and threw it off my balcony. Do you think there's any way I could get another monkey?
We thought we built the best administrative app, the best risk app that any brokerage firm had. We could tell what every single customer had on all the time. We could tell all their Greeks. We could tell all the risk, everything. We thought we had every base covered. And so we started to attract big traders from all over.
In the summer of 2005 was our first huge disaster. We almost went out of business.
I walk this empty street on the boulevard of broken dreams.
So this customer calls up and says he was at a competitor and he wanted to move over $750,000 and he's a huge trader. That was a lot of money, and if the trading that he said he actually that he said he made, if he actually did it, it was a huge account for us.
There was a client who I basically handled. I was delegated by Tom and Scott, a large trader, and he traded tons of Google. It was expiration Friday. Stock was trading around 280. He was long 4,500 280 calls,
and the stock is trading just under 280.
I come in Monday morning. Now, I was always probably the first one to come in. I was in by 6:45 every morning. Normally, I look at people's accounts, big traders. I look at the account, and I'm staring, and I'm taking my glass. I'm staring at. All of a sudden, I see a stock position of 450,000 shares of Google. And I go, this can't be right. What's going on? What's going on?
So he calls me at about 5 o'clock in the morning, and he says, Tom, I think we got a problem. Immediately, like I didn't hesitate for 1 second. I go, that's not a mistake. What does he have on? Go check his stuff.
Well, it turns out the stock, for some reason, got marked at $208.30. And the ethical thing to do, the clearinghouse should have called us up and say, you got a customer, it's in the money, you want these exercises. We never got that phone call.
Now, we have 450,000 shares, so it's $100-something million worth of stock in an account that had $500,000 in it, and I don't need to tell you that Google is down to, at this point, 275, 274 in the pre-market.
We're long 400,000 shares of Google. It's down $6. That's $2.5 million. And we're a small firm. $2.5 million out of our cash, with all the stuff we have going on, that's a lot of money.
I call him and I said, look, here's the story. Not sure how it happened, but it did. It's your trade. It's your responsibility. Do you have any money? He's like, I don't have any more money. Customer doesn't have any more money. I said, okay, then it's my trade. We're done because you're out of money. You're debit. So it's my trade. And he said to me, don't sell anything because you're going to push the price of the stock down. And I said, unless you're telling me that you're sending me money and a lot of it today, I don't care what you think.
And me and Scott basically are in the corner trying to liquidate 450,000 shares of Google in the pre-market before the market opens. Obviously, Tom and Scott, in their trader mentality, if they were able, would have traded the position. But they had an obligation to shareholders. They couldn't let it ride because they could turn into a millions and millions, multi-million-dollar loss.
So we're very careful, putting up a couple thousand here, a couple thousand there, backing off. It was an extremely long 2.5 hours until the market opened. We wound up selling the stock all the way down to 273.
I'm not sure the exact figures. We lost a few million, but it could have been ugly. The ironic thing is, Google never, ever traded that low ever again.
Somehow, the OCC pulled a print, and I saw time and sale, so I saw every print that went across the tape. Pages and pages and pages wrapped around 3 o'clock Central, 4 o'clock Eastern time, and everything's under 280. And there's 300 shares that went up at 280 spot 30. That was the price they picked.
Hi, my name is Christy Ross. So I started with them on November 2nd, 2004. The one thing they told me about the software, they didn't really talk about their technology when they were hiring me. But I asked a few people around when I talked to Joel, who was the president, and his big response to me is, listen, we're the white knights of the brokerage industry, in the regulator's eyes, because our technology is so advanced. And for me, I'm like, oh, that works for me. It was amazing technology. There was nothing like it. That was one of the beautiful things, is that you had amazing derivatives traders putting everything they wanted into the software. I mean, how wonderful is that? You're going to end up with a product that is absolutely the best for option traders, and that's what it was, and rated #1 for Barron's a number of years in a row.
In hindsight now, we can say that the beautiful thing about ThinkOrSwim was that we commoditized very complex technology, and we made it simple to use. We brought products that individual investors never had access to before, and we popularized them technology-wise. And by doing that, we also changed investor education and we changed products. It's a dramatic shift in the whole industry, and to us, very special. Right now, we think that there's not a lot we can do to go to the next generation of, quote, trading technology. But there's one space that hasn't been touched at all, and that is content. And so how do you build content outside of traditional financial media that's actually scalable? Business news to me has no value. And maybe it's interesting to some people. It's not interesting to me at all. In fact, we've never even had a business news station on. What's interesting to me is financial content that's usable. You want to show me something I can do this afternoon in earnings play? You want to show me something I can do with $3,000 or $20,000 that I can do overnight to take advantage of a volatility collapse, or I can do to take advantage of what I think is an interesting trade? I'm all for it. One of the things that was most intriguing about the financial space to us is just that there wasn't a lot of vision. There wasn't a lot of innovation. After almost 20 years of open outcry standing in the pit trading, I felt like all the markets were moving to electronic trading. I saw the writing on the wall, and I wanted to be first. Building the best technology in the world for traders was one of the coolest things anybody could ever do. I loved every second of it.
ThinkOrSwim will always be my baby, but this one, it's different. We built ours literally from scratch. It's a much thinner, it's a faster, it's a slicker application. Everything's on one page. So you're always looking at the core page and then bouncing around from there to get to whatever you want to get to. We're here to support whatever you're looking to do. We have the tools that you need to be a successful trader.